Chapter 17. Yudhir decided to answer honestly rather than skirting around the subject. Saying you don't know isn't an answer. Haven't you made bold judgments without fully understanding the abilities of Keol and the Imperial Knights? For instance, what about Nathan behind me right now? Well, Yudhir inadvertently turned his eyes towards Nathan, who was standing behind Kishir. At the moment, he was unaware that Nathan was a sword master. However, since he was reputed to have a keen eye for assessing the abilities of others, he needed some time to consider how to respond appropriately. I get the feeling that your deputy, Nathan, is so powerful that he could probably defeat all the Imperial Knights we have seen today if they were brought here. Oh, did you hear that, Nathan? He's rating you quite highly. Kishir grinned. Nathan's gaze also landed on Yudhir's face. And what if you were to compare him with yourself? If I were to compare him with me, Yudhir paused, taking a small breath. I'm not sure if I could win right now, but I believe that could change with time. I didn't realize how hard it would be to give a modest answer to something so obvious. Nathan was undoubtedly one of the top swordmasters in this world, but Yudhir was once a cavalry commander who had a reputation for being unparalleled. Although he hadn't fully developed his abilities at the moment, if he could achieve the same level of growth as before, he was confident he could defeat several swordmasters. In the past, it took him nearly 10 years to reach that level, but since he was retracing a path he had already traveled, he believed he could grow much faster this time. Ha ha ha! You say my deputy is stronger than the so-called experts of the Imperial Knights, and now you are confident that he will eventually become weaker than you. Truly an impressive level of confidence. Kishir laughed heartily. Yudhir slightly bowed his head, wondering if Kishir had always been so cheerful. So, you are saying you can't assess my ability? Yes. That was all Yudhir could say. I see. Fortunately, Kishir didn't press him further. Yudhir felt as if Kishir's red eyes were targeting him, like he was an intriguing prey. What about the cavalry as you see it? Can you not speak about that either? Just when Yudhir thought he would be told to leave, Kishir asked another question. Yudhir was momentarily taken aback. He could answer questions about individuals, but a response about the entire cavalry might sound like a critique of Commander Kishir's actions. He couldn't understand why Kishir was asking him, a mere member, something that should be asked to other important figures. Well, I think there might be someone else who can give you a better answer. Of course, I am asking others as well, but I am asking you because you seem to have a good eye. There's no hidden agenda, so feel free to answer. Whether it's something you felt during training, anything, don't worry about being expelled for expressing your concerns. Yudhir sneakily cast a glance towards Kishir's deputy, Nathan Zuckerman, hoping he might put an end to this dangerous conversation. However, Nathan remained silent, staring ahead as if he heard nothing at all. I don't remember anything like this happening in the past. I don't understand why he's acting like this all of a sudden. I just need to answer vaguely and get out of here. The cavalry is a good place. We all haven't fully realized our powers yet, but I believe that with time, as per your guidance, we will greatly improve and establish a system that will contribute to the safety of the empire. Really? Is that what you think? Yes, Yudir knew the future was bound to come. Even after Kishir's death, the cavalry would develop as he had said, taking its place and becoming an organization more powerful than any other group before. In a few years, the only ones able to protect the empire and the world would not be the knights or the mages, but the cavalry and the awakeners. Therefore, he had no doubts when he responded that way. Interesting. Everyone else says the opposite. Pardon? Surprised by his unexpected reply, Yudir blinked. Kishir, who had finished his tea, slightly turned the teacup to the side. Nathan Zuckerman, who had been standing by, filled the teacup with more red liquid from the teapot. They all say that I will fail. They ask how can I do anything with illiterate people and no system in place. It's something no other country has tried. There is no precedent. I have to create rules and a system from scratch. A deep conviction passed through Kishir's eyes, as red as the tea. There are already plenty of powerful mages and knights in this country. So why am I insistently bringing dangerous individuals into the capital? All I have is my own strength and the support of the emperor. After speaking up to that point, Kishir suddenly smiled. And yet, the promising member I managed to recruit says he can leave without any regrets, but he is also the one who assures me that the cavalry I created is good and will succeed. Isn't it funny? His words were too honest. Yudir had never expected to hear such words from him, even considering his past memories. For a moment, Yudir doubted whether the words he heard had really come from Kishir's mouth. However, the Duke in front of him was still sipping his tea with a languid smile. I have found you quite interesting from the start. Yudir lowered his gaze to avoid his red eyes, but ended up staring at the cooled red liquid in his own teacup. He couldn't escape that red color wherever he looked. If someone else had said that, I would have thought it was just a flashy answer. But your eyes, they see things that others cannot. So I somehow want to believe what you are saying. Saying that, Kishir stared intently at Yudir. So I hope you won't say things about leaving without regrets next time. That's all I have to say. Yudir rose, offered his greetings, and left Kishir's quarters. An odd sensation overcame him. Who would have thought he would have such a conversation with the Kishir Lahore? His previous impression of him had been of an enigma, a being whose true nature was unfathomable till the end. What are you thinking, Kishir Lahore? Had he always been this ambitious, or had he sensed something from me? The man Yudir thought he knew and believed he knew seemed strangely different, making him wonder if he had remembered incorrectly. He seemed more worldly and annoying, giving off the impression that his thoughts were inscrutable. But one thing was clear from Yudir's perspective: this Kishir was not a bad person. If things go well like this, there won't be any need to inherit the commander position as before. This was certainly a good thing, but the strange sensation he felt seeing Kishir's unfamiliar aspect did not fade, but deeply lodged in Yudir's mind, lasting until he fell asleep. Nathan? Yes. After Yudir left, Kishir, staring at the chilled teacup on the opposite side, opened his mouth. Kishir's cup was empty, but the one on the other side remained untouched, just as it had been from the start. What do you think of that guy? It was an unusual question. Nathan pondered for a moment before answering. If I hadn't heard of his background beforehand, I would never have guessed he was a commoner. He was unmistakably a commoner, an orphan, barely 20, yet he did not falter in front of Nathan, let alone in front of the noble Duke, who was as esteemed as the heavens. Was that all? He seemed to gauge his opponent with an impassive gaze, as if it were the most natural thing in the world. His gaze suggested someone accustomed to evaluating others, and at the same time, someone who had long taken for granted standing in a superior position. When their eyes met earlier, for a fleeting moment, he reminded him of his fencing master from his childhood. One might think he lacked manners befitting a commoner, but there was something different about him. The fact that he did not drink the tea and simply left was one thing. Normally, one would not stand up so dismissively if someone they deemed superior offered them tea. Even if he had awakened his abilities, it has been only 2 years. Nathan Zuckerman grew up crawling with a sword, rolling around in all sorts of harsh places. He had never seen someone show such an attitude towards someone who had trained for much longer and possessed much more. Normally, most people would shrink in fear and avoid eye contact when meeting him or the Duke. How could a young man of merely 20 exude such a feeling? That man was, in any case, he was not just daring, but odd. He might be a spy, so it would be best to investigate. Actually, I have already done some investigation. There really wasn't much, Kishore chuckled. He actively participates in training and his performance is excellent. If he had gone to the SIL division, I might have immediately offered him the position of deputy commander. If I investigate again, I might find something. Well, the expression of the master, who would usually instruct to proceed meticulously, seemed somewhat nuanced. A strange smile, like he was holding back a laugh, appeared and disappeared from his face. Perhaps we need more people like him here,